If you believe that you can't be racist to white people, you're an incredible fucking racist. You are one of the top 1% of most unbelievably racist fucks in society. Congratulations. And I think many of the most racist people, Nazis for example, probably wouldn't say they're racist. Why is that? Well, if you look at the Nazis, you look at the far left, which is just the left now, as we know. And one of the first things they do, and I don't know if it helps them sleep or if it's to get more moderate people into their ideology, it's dehumanize their opponent. So, yeah, white men aren't human. White men are the lowest caste. You can't be racist against whites. Now, the Nazis may have said something like, you can't be racist against, their main target group. That target group is animals. I'm not going to say it here because it could be taken out of context, because obviously I don't think that. And this is what the left will say. Well, you can't be racist against white people because white people aren't human. They're animals. They are, especially white men, they're the Dalit class, the lowest caste in society who should be seen and not heard. You can't be racist against white people. How do you get to a position of that much fucking blatant open racism? And remember, this is in a society where black people commit double the amount of hate crime towards white people as white people do towards black people. Bet you didn't realise that, did you? Unless you've been listening to this podcast. When you think hate crime, you think, oh, whites, skinhead, neo-Nazi attacking, lynching a black person. No. Twice as common is a black person attacking a white person because they're white. And yet, you get most people on the left saying you can't be racist against white people. That's just as fucking racist as the Nazis. What we have is a left dominated by fucking Nazis, basically. I mean, racism doesn't stop being racism just because you change the target. It's still racism. But to be so irredeemably racist, as a big percentage of people on the left now are, as to dehumanize your enemy, as the Nazis did, and to think that they're not human, therefore you're not being racist. It's impossible to be racist against my enemy, or this out group, or in the case of self-loathing extreme leftist whites, they have an out group bias, so they just hate themselves, they hate white people. To think that you can't be racist against white people is, it literally is a level of racism the same as the Nazis, because you've dehumanized an entire race of people. You've done nothing less than dehumanize a race of people. To say you can't be racist against white people is one of the most unbelievably fucking racist things you could possibly say. You're just a Nazi at this point. It doesn't matter who the target is. You're a Nazi. The left are Nazis. We have a rising Nazi party on the left. They just fucking hate different sets of people. There's very little difference. The solution to racism isn't more racism. Like, what fucking psychopath would think that? But this is the left. The left is built on this now. Mainstream left, Democrats, Labour in the UK. And you see this manifest itself through the self-loathing whites, through open borders, through just wanting to be replaced by people from outside groups instead of defending yourself and protecting what your ancestors have built. What is racism? If you believe the invented moronic shit that comes out of circularly referenced bullshit in left-wing courses in left-wing institutions and universities, then racism is systematic power. No. Racism is very simple. It's when you think someone of a different or certain race is inferior to someone of another race. That's it. If you're a black person who hates white people, you're a fucking racist. If you're a white person that hates white people, you're a fucking racist against yourself. You're a self-loathing white. If you're a white person that hates a black person, you're a fucking racist. It's very fucking simple. You don't need to make up all this communist far-left bullshit to sugarcoat what you're doing. If you're a racist, you're a fucking racist. And actually, anyone saying you can't be racist against white people, anyone getting pissed off hearing that white people can have racism pointed at them, is a fucking... You're proving the point. The proof of what you're denying is in your denial. Do you see what you did there? Congratulations. So yeah, again, if you ever encounter anyone making these vacuous, just unbelievably racist statements, call them out. Call them out and demonstrate that they've disproved themselves by even saying that. It's staggering how fucking racist the left is. The left is a house of cards built on double standards and fueled with a full tank of hate. It runs on hate fuel. And it hates whites, it hates men, it hates straight people, it hates anyone to the right of Stalin. The left is fueled by hate, and this is just more obvious proof of it. If you think you can't be racist against white people, you're being fucking racist against white people. You're dehumanizing white people. You're using exactly the same tactics as the fucking Nazis. You are a Nazi if you think this. There's no wiggle room there. What you've done by saying that is you've laid out all your prejudices. It's laid bare. We've seen you. We've seen what you're saying. We've seen what you stand for, which is just basic fucking racism. And you may have been sheltered in an institution of extremism, say at university, where you've been indoctrinated. You've been at the Hitler Youth Training Camp, aka far leftist university, for a few years. And this has been normalised in your brain. Maybe you don't realise that you've been indoctrinated and brainwashed into a fucking racist, unscientific, incorrect ideology, but that's what's happened. You need to recognise your own prejudice, recognise your own racism, and fucking snap out of it. Unless you are just racist and you're happy with that, and you don't want to change. But you're probably wearing a cloak of anti-racism. You probably think you're doing the right thing, in which case you should be self-reflective, and you should recognise your racism and try and fix it. Because is that not what you would want from the other side? I think it is. So if you don't recognise it and try and fix it, you're also a fucking hypocrite in addition to being a racist. Yeah, you can be racist against white people. You can be racist against any race. It's very simple.
This was the Deviant Developer Podcast. Tap subscribe in any podcast app to never miss an episode. To contact me or make a welcome donation, go to thedeviantdeveloper.com.